Kim, I know you didn't end things the way you probably wanted to. You wanted to be out there on the court, but just can you just describe just the overall, just the thought process and sum up just what this season meant for you?
At the end of the day, any opportunity to go out and play, um, play the game we love is something to be cherished. Um, and I'm very grateful to be a part of the league, to be a part of this organization. And so that's kind of the first thing that comes to mind is that a lot to look at, a lot to take away from the season. Areas that you know for improvement, areas that have shown improvement, and onward and upward.
What would you say was the biggest lesson that you learned just throughout this year personally and professionally on the court?
The biggest lesson I'd say would just be along the lines of probably just holding a bigger leadership role amongst our team, amongst our group, leadership kind of on and off the court in those ways.
Following up on that, I mean, when you came here from Phoenix, I mean, you were kind of a younger guy on that roster, learning from guys like CP3. When you're here and being able to, I don't know, mentor younger guys, lead younger guys, how much did you relish that, and how much of a change was that? Did you have to become more vocal? Did you have to kind of change the way you go about your affairs in terms of, taking guys aside or being, more outspoken?
I wouldn't say necessarily change as much as I'd say grow. Change would kind of, in my opinion, imply that you're doing something that is kind of outside yourself more so, and that's part of it, and that's part of growth. But I'd attribute it more to just the growth aspect of taking those next steps. Understanding what my teammates were able to do for me in the past in terms of bringing me up to speed and making sure that I understand the game and just in general being taken care of. I know I always had vets around me when I was younger that had my back in anything. And so understanding that it's now my time to be that person for our group and understand that we do have a really young team and just being there for the guys and trying to help them grow in this league and take the next steps for themselves, whatever that may be. But I've enjoyed that process for sure, and I've learned a lot through it. And I've enjoyed seeing so many guys on the team just take steps forward with their confidence, with their approach, with their habits. It's been cool to see.
And for such a young team, considering your own personal growth this season, when you have a team that's rebuilding and a guy who has taken quantum leaps forward and has had a career year, obviously your name came up at the trade deadline. Your name probably will come up again and be bandied about in the summer. Do you go to Sean, or do you wait for him to come to you? Do you let your agents deal with that? How do you?
Go to Sean in terms of what?
Do you go to Sean just to understand exactly what the grand plan is for you, or do you wait for him to come to you? You let your agent say, I pay them to do that?
Definitely. Definitely go to him and ask, because I have a very vested interest in what we're doing here. I feel like I put a lot of effort into trying to be a part of this program, and I take that very seriously, and I feel like I've also been given responsibility to have that approach. I would definitely like to know everything that's going on and understand that I'm not going to be led in on every decision or have say in every decision, but I would like to know going forward. But it is also my job to, at this point, work on myself, get better, and handle whatever comes along with being a pro and in this situation.
Cam, I'm interested to know what you think the identity of this team but also kind of like where it started game one or even, training camp, San Diego, up until now? How did it kind of develop? It felt like it kind of almost got better and better. I mean, even as the team, struggled at times, it felt like the identity kind of stayed the same.
Yeah, and I think that was something that we really wanted to, emphasize this year, was having some type of identity, something that when you see, you're playing against the Nets, you're going to get this. And I think for us this year was playing hard, picking up the ball pressuring. Our pace wasn't high in the league, but that can be attributed to a number of factors. I think we're a team that's going to make you fight to win the game, those sort of things. And for the most part, we were pretty good at that all year. What it needs to become is that sustained effort, which, that play hard is 87% of the time is a lot different than 100% of the time. That's a big gap to cover. So get whatever it is to an even better level of consistency, and then just add wrinkles in our knowledge. I was talking to guys yesterday. Let's just say something defensively. When we're talking about defensive coverages, just a knowledge of how to manipulate the court and communication-wise to, make ourselves as effective as possible. There are layers that come with being with the group for an extended period of time, being with the coaching staff for an extended period of time, that you can develop. And so as we do that, as we develop those wrinkles offensively, defensively, making everything sort of second nature, we'll be able to take a big step, execution-wise, that maybe sometimes we're lacking this year, not for lack of trying, but more just, naturally. And if it was that easy, then everybody would do it. It wouldn't be a big deal, and we wouldn't have anything to sit here and talk about. So that's the goal for us, is to take those next steps.
On the subject of being a veteran leader and a voice, you said you've been given that responsibility. Is that something where there was a directive from the coaching staff or management, or you took it upon yourself, or both, or how does that come about?
Yeah, and when I say that, yeah, definitely there's a component of that, and being one of the oldest, being the second oldest on the team right now, it comes naturally. And then on top of that, I've been given the opportunity to play here. I came here on my rookie contract and then signed a 4-year deal that affords me a huge opportunity. And I don't take that for granted. I don't think anybody in our league should, but you should. It definitely comes with responsibility, and being the best professional you can be, taking care of your business, and making those career steps that take you from young guy that's trying to learn it all and take it all in to digesting those lessons and helping, bring up the younger guys on the team. And so that's what I mean when I say sort of responsibility.
And then also, you're a player, you're getting into the veteran stage of your career. You've played, in the finals before. And this is a team that is rebuilding. It can build it out as slow or fast as it like. And you said you'd enjoy the process of seeing the younger guys grow. Being in that leadership role and leading those guys and watching them grow while you might not be competing for a championship, is that something you find, as satisfying, or kind of how do you balance that being where you're at in your career versus, being a team that's trying to contend for a title right now?
I think the point I'd make to that is I feel like I'm growing right alongside them. I do not feel like in any way, shape, or form that I'm a finished product myself. And I know that I'm finishing up year 6 and, towards the end of my 20s. I know those things, but I still feel like I have a whole lot of growth in front of me. And I've told you, I've sat up here on this podium and told you guys that for a couple of years now, and I stand by it. And I think I've made steps in the right direction, but I'm still growing as a player. And so I'm growing alongside the young guys. We're all working. We're all trying to get better. We're all chasing something. So, yeah, obviously I want to win. That's bottom line. I play this game because I like to win. I hate losing. It does not sit well with me. But I can also find silver linings in situations. And one thing that I'll always do is put my head down and work and try to be a better player and better teammate and all those things. And so I can pivot and focus on those things. And I think I have to some extent. Obviously, I would like to get back to winning as quick as possible. But in the meantime, I'm going to enjoy every moment of chasing it because that's what makes it feel even better, is when you really, you got to work for it.
Cam, when you look at your individual success this year in a career year, how much do you attribute that to, one, your own health, whether it's maybe Jordy doing sets, or I don't know, maybe the beard, I don't know.
It could be all the above, right? It's just a different kind of year, just in terms of personnel, and I've found myself in, with probably a lot more play calls for myself than I'd had before, and maybe with that, more defensive attention, and we've had a little bit of lineup shuffles over the course of the season, but I've always said it's time to show the work that I put in, for the past 10 years of my career. And I learned a lot from those things, and I feel like I can be even better, and I can feel like I can be even more effective, even more efficient. But yeah, it's I give a lot of credit to Jordy and his staff, and it wasn't always extremely easy, but they always kept our mindset in the right direction. That goes a long way when you're trying to go out there and compete and put your best foot forward.
And just as a core player with these guys, what do you see for the future of the team, given the assets you have and cap space and things like that, where, there could be brighter days down the line?
Me personally, I think, it's from here, and it can look, very different depending on which way it's approached, and that's not my decision at the end of the day, but it's to get back to winning as quick as possible. And I don't know what that means, and I don't know exactly how that's accomplished, but continuing to fill our roster with the talent and the right type of people and the right type of players to make a cohesive group that's capable of winning. And then from there, just, everybody in the league is chasing a championship. And so I get everything that comes along with that. But, it's really time for us to put that as goal number one. Get back to winning, get back into the playoff picture, and go from there.
Yeah, Cam, I was just interested in one guy, Ziaire. Just kind of your thoughts on what you saw from his development, but also just kind of as a person and what's next for him.
One, he's a great teammate. He's very reliable, somebody that you can always talk to in game situations. He has a very good understanding of the game. You can tell that he's paid a lot of attention to smaller details, especially as, he's finishing up year 4 now, so he's kind of making that transition into being a little bit more of a veteran presence. The one thing that stood out to me from the beginning was his ability to defend, his ability to pressure the ball, to disrupt, to use his length. That was a sort of almost a surprise there. And then offensively, he has a lot more to his game than I thought beforehand, and I think his shooting has developed a lot as the season went on. And I look forward to him taking wherever he is, if it's here or anywhere else. I think he's going to continue to take strides. He's really young. He's very young, and he has a lot of potential that he can tap into. And there's a lot there as a scorer, as a shooter, as a defender, and an overall playmaker. So I'm encouraged for his future.
Nic, if you could just sum up what this season was like, the highs, the lows, just what did it take to get through it for you?
It was a very humbling season. It was a lot of highs, a lot of lows for me. Just physically, mentally, spiritually, everything. It was a lot. But, we here. I'm glad, I got through it, and I'm blessed.
What was the biggest lesson that you take away from this year?
Just not repeating like the same thing over again. As far as like, just making sure I have a good summer. Last summer I wasn't able to work out much because of my back. So just making sure I come in prepared and I'm not playing catch up. And I got myself in the best shape as possible.
You've been with this organization through a lot. What was it like to play under Jordy Fernandez and this coaching staff?
It was great. I mean, I feel like we all learned a lot together on the job. You know, experience is the best teacher. It was his first year as a head coach. I think he did a phenomenal job with the group, just day in and day out. Our energy was there. We practiced. I think our process was right. And obviously, you know, we got a lot of stuff to work on going into the summer. But you know, now we started to lay the foundation. We can keep building it.
Nick, going back to the back, at what point did you kind of start to finally feel like yourself? Like, how long was it troubling you, if it ever did get back to yourself?
Yeah, I still need to get right. Like it's still bothering me, honestly. But it's like now, you know, we got the whole off season. I was still able to play in 70 games, so you know that's a blessing being able to do that 3 years in a row. I don't take that for granted. No major injuries, so I have time to lock in on it this summer.
And that then is the obvious follow-up. Do you expect to have any sort of procedure, whether it's major or minor, whether it's like an epidural, or is there anything that you expect to have to do?
Not major. I'm gonna get it right. I got a plan. Get it right. No surgeries or nothing. No.
Nick, offensively, it kind of felt like as the season went on, you got more and more comfortable, not only, you know, scoring, but distributing as well. You know, how did you feel kind of your role, or maybe getting more comfortable within your role in this offense?
Yeah, it was different. Like this year was so different for me offensively. The setup, everything, it was just different. And I got a lot more comfortable though, facilitating, playing with the ball in my hands a lot more. Just finding my spots, having to create for myself a little bit more, and I definitely grew throughout the year.
What does it mean to you to, I guess, have accomplished, 6 years in this league and now kind of, be like an adult and have more responsibilities in life and also, at work? I guess, how do you reflect on the NBA and being, a pro, having become not your life, but such a big part of it?
Man, I feel like I've really grown up here like so much throughout the past few years, past 6 years, and I just don't take it for granted because being in the NBA, being able to have my dream job, I mean, it sounds cliche, but I really don't take it for granted. Like, I know it's a blessing, and I just want to just keep growing, just on and off the court, and just get ready for next year.
You said the offense was a lot different for you this year. Just what about the system that Jordy was running was different, and does that impact kind of the things that you're doing this offseason and focusing on in terms of improving your skill set?
Yeah, I think having the ball in my hands more, which is great. I mean, flashing more of like a European style type offense, I think. But going into the summer, like I really know, okay, what I need to work on. I've had a lot of different coaches, so it was kind of hard to get that continuity going over the summers. Things always change, but now, like I said, of course, some things will change, but we kind of have a foundation, and I'll have a lot of film to know what I need to lock in on.
Nick, I'm interested in your relationship with Juwan, not necessarily comparing to anyone you've had in the past, but just kind of what was that like being with a guy obviously as accomplished as he is, and kind of what he brought to your game?
It's been super organic. Even my dad knew him. My dad worked out with him a long time ago in Chicago. So it was, his body of work speaks for itself as a coach, as a player, and our relationship definitely grew a lot throughout the season. And hopefully we can continue to build on that.
What was it like to be in this locker room with the guys and just to form the friendship and the bond that you guys had throughout the season?
It was different. It's a lot of a lot of young guys, so it was like the energy was different. Just young and fresh, and a lot of people trying to, really fully get their foot in the door into the league. But it was dope being able to go through this process and grinding out this season with them. Even though we didn't win a whole lot of games, like, you can never take that camaraderie for granted.
You mentioned the foundation that Jordy and the staff has started. When you look at what's being built, what do you look forward to the most of next year about what can be done?
Just winning more games. Yeah, everybody love winning. Just like getting the playoffs, winning more games, and working on turning the corner. And I know it's not easy, because it's not easy, especially winning in this league. But like we gonna do it. We can do it.
Hey, Noah. Noah, how are you doing? Is the wrist? Did you have to have surgery?
It was a minor procedure. I'm great though. I appreciate you asking.
I know that you had to go through a lot of injuries throughout this season. How was it for you just to get through it and just to get to this point?
It's a sense of relief almost. I got time now to work on stability in places where I was having injuries, obviously ankles, etc. And a chance to better my game before we come back next season. So that's always good.
With the ankles and also the wrists, what will this offseason look like for you, and just kind of what is the recovery process in these next couple of months?
It shouldn't be long at all. Again, the procedure was minor, so I should be at this cast and back going fairly soon.
You talked about taking the summer and being able to A, recover, and then B, work on some things. What are some of the biggest goals for the summer, things that you want to work on? Is it adding bulk? Is it strength? What are the things you want to work on?
Strengthening all parts of my body, being able to trust my body in certain positions is important. And then on the court, just overall game. I got to be elite out of a closeout, things like that.
When you evaluate what you were able to do offensively in the system that Jordy was running, just kind of how'd you feel about the spots you were in, and what are the areas of your game that you think are important, with the positions that you were in within what you guys were running?
I think this year I was mainly floor spacer, and I think I did fairly well at it for most part of the year. But again, being able to make a second decision, third decision out of those closeouts. Got to a point where teams started to realize, like, okay, you can shoot, but make a decision, and I got to be better in that decision-making process.
And then defensively, just how'd you feel about the spots you were in there and what you were able to accomplish?
I think I did all right, but inconsistent. That'd probably be my biggest thing. I was inconsistent defensively, and I think I could have been better, so I got to do better in that.
What either like mentally or preparation wise maybe surprised you, or did you learn about like what it takes to, start or just be in the rotation consistently, when you were playing, or even if that was any different than doing it in Long Island last year?
I think like anything, the best way to go about it is to get reps at doing it. There's nothing that can prepare you for the league besides playing in the league, in my opinion. So I think that now that I got a lot more games under my belt, I've learned a lot more, and I know how to approach this summer versus my first summer where I didn't have as much experience, and I was just trying to better myself with no clear direction as to where I was trying to go going into the summer.
No, you mentioned that the jump shot really got going, and teams started to respect you quite a bit. How, I guess, satisfying in a way is it that the work that you put in really paid off with the jump shot? And then how do you feel like, you kind of mentioned you want to feel like you have an overall game that, you feel like if I put in the work, X thing is going to happen positively?
So it's a good feeling when, shots are falling and teams are respecting it, whether it's because the shot is falling or because you shoot so many that they obviously just don't want you to get as many up or whatever the case may be. And then for the second part, I think he kind of got to work to gain that confidence. So that's why I think I need a big summer. That way I am comfortable doing everything else and not just shooting. And I can do that confidently, go into it.
No, everybody, on the team has spoken about how big this summer is going to be. And, with the organization, having the draft picks they have, especially free agency, how does it make you feel knowing that, this time come September that this team could look a lot different in, amount of young talent or even vets, whoever comes in the building?
I think we all know that nothing is guaranteed right now for a lot of people here. So what the team's going to look like then, or what the team looks like now, or what it's going to look like then, I don't think it's going to make any difference on what I need to do in the summer. So I'm not really concerned.
Hey, Keon.
So
Keon, overall, just what was the season like for you playing with this Brooklyn Nets team and the role that you had?
it was a big eye opener for me, and just how I got to attack this off season. But I mean, it was a great opportunity for me to get out and kind of reinvent myself for this year. Just coming off of a year where I was in the G League and being able to show how I can compete and play at a high level in the NBA.
You said that was an eye-opener for what you have to do this offseason. What were some of those main takeaways that you just reflect on that's going to be some main priorities for you?
I would say, one, just being more consistent on the defensive end, and just taking the challenge more of guarding team's best player, but also trying to stay focused on our what we're trying to do game in and game out. And then on the offensive end, being able to keep my reads simple, but just make those reads at a higher level and pretty much stay consistent.
You've mentioned before the confidence that Jordy gives you and this team just to go out there and play. Just what has that relationship been like, and what are the conversations like even just now about what you're able to do for them and hopefully moving forward?
Man, Coach Jordy does a great job of just keeping that confidence poured into us. Even right now, leading into the off season, he has told me that, he's happy with the way that I performed this year, but he wants to see me take it to a higher level, and pretty much keep doing what I'm doing, but just, I guess, be a little bit more consistent within what I'm trying to do.
Just firstly, what are your next weeks, months, whatever? What does that look like for you?
I'll be with my AAU team, traveling with them, going to tournaments. I'll probably spend a week with them and train with them, and then I'll go to my place in Dallas, hang out on my little ranch that I got, and just rejuvenate my soul, kind of.
And then just more generally speaking, we talked to you at Summer League last year. Let's say, we could show you, this will be your NBA season. You'll play all these minutes, and this is how you'll perform. You kind of touched on this with Megan, but what about that would you have expected of yourself? What about this season maybe would have surprised you? You mentioned wanting to be more consistent. Did you know that was going to be a struggle? If you had known you would have played this much, things like that.
I really wouldn't say I would have known that I would have played this much, but I kind of prepared myself to be able to play as much or be able to play whenever. So, for like going into this past off season, my big priority was just being in the tip-top shape and just pretty much staying ready for whatever is thrown at me. Whereas this year, I'm kind of evolving myself into a more solid role, so now I'm able to focus on whereas catch and shoot and making simple reads off the dribble, but also still keeping myself in the best shape to perform at the highest level.
Keon, back to the ranch. Do you have like cattle and horses?
No, right now I got goats.
Okay.
Yeah. I was gonna do cows, but goats are pretty much smaller, so I can use more land less land and have more goats. So it's a little bit of a
How many goats are we talking about?
25.
It's a lot of goats.
Yeah. But I got 20 acres, so they got a lot of land to run on. So
What's the goal? Do you have a goal beyond that? Like starting with goats, where does this go?
well, my major was agriculture in college, so I kind of want to take what I majored in and kind of mix it into what I'm trying to do now, which is kind of want to be a farmer once basketball is over, and just be out on my own land and have my own vibe. But the goal would be to eventually get into aquaponics, hydroponic farming, fish farming. So the start is to have land. So
One more basketball question, but I'm just interested. It just feels like you've come such a long way, obviously getting to play this much. Where do you feel like you've grown the most, or like how different is Keon from October to now?
I would say being more vocal. Early in the year, I kind of wasn't as vocal as I am now towards the end of the season, which came with me playing a lot more minutes and just being in those situations where my team needed me to either make a big stop or knock down a big shot. So, I mean, for me, that's kind of what a kid dreams of coming into the NBA, just having a role or something that they're good at and just taking that and running with it.
When you look at Cam Johnson, is one of the oldest players on the team and very experienced guy who's been to the championship. Just what stood out to you about his voice in the locker room and what he was able to do as kind of a leadership guy for you?
The way he approaches the game night in and night out, he comes in, works, pretty much harder than all of the guys in our locker room, but the way that pretty much he gets himself ready for games and how consistent he is in preparation, it goes to show the work that he does on the court whenever jump ball is tipped. It's no question, because we're seeing this every day in practice. So, for guys like him with that type of experience, someone that I kind of cling on to just to pick their brain and see what they're thinking throughout games or any given time and moment.
Keon, this is the most you've played in a season by far, and your numbers have been probably the best they've been since you've been in the league. As you head into this offseason and next season, do the goals for yourself change from, say, just trying to get on the floor and get minutes to now, you want to try to be, say, a top 100 player, whatever the case may be? Is it more now about just producing and actually taking advantage of the playing time you're getting?
I would more so say that trying to create separation from this season, Keon, going into next season. So, a lot of the shots and the opportunity that I was given on offense and defense, it's not going to be the same the next year. So I kind of got to prepare myself going in, knowing that, I got to figure out other ways that I can grow my game. One of those that I've noticed was just my finishing around the rim. If I can maybe knock down one or two more shots, layups around the rim, then that overall helps my game and expands my game. And just being able to read the game in that aspect, because the games change very fast, and so for a guy like me, competing on both ends, those shots that I do get are almost slim to none. So being able to step into a game, whether I'm playing 20 minutes or 10 minutes, just knowing that whether the ball touches my hands or not, I'm going to be able to make an impact.
Hey, D'Angelo.
Hello.
D'Angelo, I know it's only been, weeks for you to be back in Brooklyn, but just overall, what was it like to be here these last few months and just to be back in Brooklyn and with this team?
Oh, it was good. It was great feeling. I think it was a great opportunity to, kind of plug into. Obviously, the Brooklyn way is a little different than every other way, so it definitely was an adjustment. But It was exciting. The fans, were great, just like I remember them. The environment in the arena was great. Things like that you remember. So it was great. It felt like a breeze.
How would you just describe the foundation that Jordy Fernandez and his coaching staff has done with you guys, with this group, and about potentially what you can see maybe moving forward?
I've seen it over the years, just with teams that are, trying to shift their direction and their identity and build a culture. And I think, every way he's went about doing it, first with just, gathering the guys and getting them to believe. When I came here not too long ago, I felt that, everybody believed in their coach. And you saw it, from all the staff to all the players to Sean, all those guys believe in coach. So to see what he was doing behind the scenes to kind of make that go, it was that genuine feel that he has. He gives you that vibe that you want to play for him. So with the talent and the group that the guys that were here this year, they'll have that chip on their shoulders going into next season. All credit to the work and the staff here as well.
As a veteran guy on a team that is young and rebuilding, and Sean can obviously go a bunch of different ways here with the flexibility that he has. How confident are you that you'll be able to work out an agreement and be back here, or do you think that's entirely kind of dependent on which direction Sean decides to go in this rebuild?
I haven't even let my mind run with that thought. I know that it's something that's going to happen and kind of out of my control. So just one day at a time.
You've mentioned the coaching staff. You've talked a lot about it, kind of positivity, also the way they prepare you, especially as the season goes on, right? And you get into the dog days at times. Is it rare, what you saw, not necessarily comparing to anything in the past, but rare what you saw here with this group, just in terms of the way that they kind of continually kept at it and kept you guys as prepared as they did?
I haven't been everywhere, but I don't know if it's rare. I just think the care factor is there, from everybody, and I felt that, and I think that's a start. When you're trying to build something, guys gotta care first, and just from the personalities of players in here, you could tell all the guys have that personality, and obviously the team, the staff and everybody analytics that go into who they bring into this building from everybody. I think, there's this care factor that each individual person has. And I just noticed it collectively throughout the group. And like I said, that's something you want going into next season. A lot of teams were put on notice. So going into next season, you'll see the team doing way better, team getting way more calls, team having way more respect just around Brooklyn. I think that's what it's missing, and I think it'll change soon.
When, people around the league or friends or whatever ask you, what's it like playing in Brooklyn? What's it like being a part of the organization? I know you've been here twice, and the second time, whole new coaching staff and whatnot. But, what's your response about what it's like, what makes it unique, whether it's this staff or the overall
performance team? I think, obviously, Sean comes from, the Spurs tree or whatnot, and the way the Spurs do it is they overstructure, and a lot of teams don't meet the average structure. So for Brooklyn or Spurs or the way they do it, you kind of feel that right off the jump. But then you think of the performance team here. When I came here, I tell all the young players I had my best season, and I didn't pick up a ball all summer. It was all about my body, not by choice, because I had an injury that I was dealing with that required the management. So the performance team gets a lot of credit from me, and I preach it. And anybody that asks why, I dive deep into why, just so they hear me.
What will this offseason look like for you, and just what are some of your goals that you want to work on?
Last few summers have been very busy for me. A lot of what's next, hurry up and wait and things like that. So for me, I'm just trying to reset. Like I said, one day at a time. Free agency and all that's gonna happen at some point. Not really dwell on it until it does. So really just disconnecting and getting my mind and body right.
Did anything stick out to you, different about the way that Jordy and his staff, kind of approach the dynamic with them and the players here?
When you think of next guy up mentality, I think that they really embraced that. A lot of guys went down throughout the season. A lot of guys stepped up and earned themselves whatever they may have earned themselves. They did something right in that standpoint. I think the players that are here all have that mentality just from what the coaching staff, Jordy and all those guys instilled. No matter who's out there, we have a chance. And like I said, that care, that work from the summer, all that started last summer, and you saw that throughout the season, no matter if we were down, if we were losing, or if 6 guys were out and coach didn't know who he was going to start. You saw him, scramble with what he had, and it was impressive.
I know this is not Carolina blue, so cut me some slack.
Did it hurt you putting on today?
Nah, it didn't hurt me, but I didn't know I was going on the camera, so now it is. No, don't start.
Dayron, just to wrap up this season, just what was it like to get through it, and how would you just sum up the year for you?
I'll say at the beginning, it was a little struggle with the injuries, just watching the guys play, but watching the guys play, fueled me too. The way they was playing beginning of the season, everybody was playing hard together, the way the play style, I couldn't wait to get out there. And I just came in, feel like I had to get my footing back. As I did, I feel like I started to feel like more myself, and I just feel like I got a lot more room to improve. I love the coaching staff that we brought in this year too. I feel like it was a great help and a great benefit to the team too.
For you, dealing with the injuries and just the ups and downs of the season, what excites you the most about this offseason, and what are some of the main priorities for you?
I say excite me the most is that I can actually work out this offseason. Last year, I had for 3 to 4 months, I only could use my left hand because I hurt my right wrist. So it just felt like great to be able to go to the offseason healthy and to be able to put in the work that I want to put in these next 4 to 5 months.
This locker room, there's a lot of guys in and out, injuries, some new guys, two-way guys. What was it like just to be in that locker room? There were so many times where you could see just the excitement, the fun, the joy that you guys were having, but what was it like? Take us into that locker room.
I'll say it was very sociable. It didn't matter if it was two-way. We just traded and got a new player. Like the first days felt like you been here the whole time. You know what I'm saying? I feel like by the time 2-3 days go by, I feel like you've been here the whole time. I feel like the coaching staff, they great at like welcoming new players. And the players, we was like accepting new players easy. You know what I'm saying? Like as soon as they come, we talking to them. Trying to get them comfortable with us. And I just feel like everybody was just cool with each other this year.
As a restricted guy coming up this summer, are you confident that you'll be able to get something done, with the Nets before you even get to the market, or do you just expect, hey, I'll get to the market, I'll get what I get, and I'll let them match it?
Yeah, I'm new to this, so whatever happened. God willing. I like Brooklyn, so God willing.
Dayron, you had, based on the numbers, your best season in the league. Just finished year 4. Is there any part of you that's, in the back of your mind thinking what you could do in a starting role, especially since you had, a couple starts when Nic was out with injuries, especially because you're a free agent this offseason? Is there any thought that you want to see what else you can do with more time?
Like you said, I don't really look at the starting and the bench type of thing. I just look at the minutes, so If I gotta play 18, I gotta play 18. If I gotta play 14, I gotta play 14. If I can play 30, I can play 30. You know, I'm just grateful wherever I can get. You know, I always just look at it as it's people in my position every day that hoop and want to be in my position. You know what I'm saying? And you know, some guys don't even get to play. And I used to be in a position I didn't play at all. So I just take whatever minutes I get. You know, and I'm just grateful for them.
Just first of all, over here, what are your next few months, weeks look like? What are your immediate plans?
Well, my immediate plan is to try to get my weight under control. You know, just straight to it type of vibe. That's what I'm on. I feel like the last time I didn't get to work out like I wanted to, so I'm just trying to make up for that. So I'm just trying to straight to it for real.
And then just more generally, when you think about, you've now spent 4 years here. What are some of the biggest differences between, 19-year-old, whatever, rookie year Dayron and, now, today, that you see in yourself?
Just like knowing what's good for myself. Coming at 19, not really understanding body maintenance, off-court stuff, just thinking like just lacing your shoes up and going to hoop. As I'm getting older, realize you just can't do that. There's a lot of preparation that goes into it, and I feel like that's the biggest thing I learned.
You said earlier that you like the coaching staff that came in here. Just what about Jordy and his staff and the process and the way that they've approached stuff with you guys did you enjoy?
I say like they speak life, instead of, trying to bring us down. Even when we mess up, he tell us like if we mess up, don't even take it hard on yourself, that type of thing. And he always trying to speak life into us, to do the right things, to play better, and play hard. So that's why I like the most. Like it's never like he bringing us down. He always lifting us up, even if we playing bad or not. You know what I'm saying? He's still lifting us up.
And then you just had a career year. You're entering free agency. You said you're new to this. Is the prospect of entering free agency and seeing what your market is? Is that exciting? Is it intimidating? Is it just an unknown? Like how do you feel about that?
Just part of the business, I guess. I don't really put too much on it. I guess go with the flow.
Dayron, when you say you're trying to get your weight under control, do you have like specific weight target goal?
I was like 10 pounds. I'm trying to get like back to my weight that I was my third year, basically. That's basically it. So like 10 pounds for real. Ain't nothing crazy.
It's now end of your rookie contract. You're one of the longest tenured players here, but still obviously very young. When you reflect on these last 4 years and everything that transpired here, all the roster turnover, all the things that have happened, does it feel longer than 4 years? Just like how would you summarize?
It feels shorter for real. I feel like I just got here yesterday. Man, I still feel like I just got drafted. I just feel like it's yesterday for real. So it don't even feel like 4 years went by. You making me feel old when you say that, but it don't even feel like it. But I guess it's just how it go. I guess because I wasn't playing my first 2 years, that's why I feel like that. But they feel like I just started.
Cam, first, how are you doing? How's everything just going for you in your recovery process?
Everything's good. It's going great. Feeling better. Getting better by the day, but feel really good. And, way better than I was, but rehab's going real good, feeling real good. So going into the off season, feeling good. It's a positive.
You had to go through a lot this season with just your injury. How would you assess how just this season was for you, and how was it for you just to get through it?
Yeah, great season. When I was available, I feel like I had a great season when I was available to play. Learned a lot. Really, found out a lot about myself, on and off. Great season. Obviously, love to be playing more, but sometimes just how the cards are dealt. But hungry and ready to get back playing. So, this never happens again. So I just can't wait.
When you talk about learning a lot and just growing, just what do you take away the most from this time and walking away from just the growth that you've done?
Yeah, just yeah, that's a good question. Just trying to, find solutions. Just really find solutions, whatever the situation may be, whatever the problem may be. Just trying to find the best solution for it. I think that's what this year consisted a lot for me, the team and performance. Just trying to find solutions to make everything right. Especially for me, trying to get back on the court as quickly as I can. But sometimes it doesn't work like that. But we just gotta learn from it and take it into next year for sure.
Cam, what's your relationship with Jordy like now compared to what it was when the season started?
It's way better. Obviously, it's going to be, a learning curve for both. He didn't know me, I didn't know him. So, just trying to get to know each other, learn how he sees the game, learn me and learn how I see the game and how I play as a player. But I think now we're in a really good spot, a great spot actually. And it's great. I love Jordy. Jordy's great. Just learned a lot from him. And I can't wait to, run it back next year with him. If that is the case. So we'll see. But it's definitely been great learning from him for sure. So I think we're in a great spot, great relationship. So just want to keep building that and keep growing.
Cam, this is twofold. You talked about learning over the course of the season. I mean, is there anything that you learned about, I don't know, either your preparation or stretching or PT, whatever, to make sure that you don't have the same issues with the hammy next year?
No, I mean, the times I got hurt, it was like fluke injuries. I never been hurt this much. So it's nothing for me to really be concerned about in that aspect. I mean, every time I got hurt, it was fluke injuries. Like one was a step back that I do normally. I didn't even know I was hurt until I started running a little bit. And then Chicago was the final play of the game, and it's like damn, the luck of that. So it's like nothing that I'm really concerned about that I need to really do, but it's just learning like, okay, maybe get a little extra recovery or something. Just little stuff like that. Just learning like that. But I think you can always learn something. Learn something from what I experienced this year because it's never happened to me, so it's obviously me learning something for sure.
And you said, you'd love to run it back if that ends up being the case. Are you confident that in that window that you guys have that you can get something done before free agency even starts, or do you expect, all right, I'm going to hit the market and get an offer and just bring it back to them and they'll match it, or?
Yeah, we'll see. Those are conversations that the front office and my agents will have. I'm not sure when, but we'll see how it goes. But definitely excited to come back, play in front of the fans again. I know the fans love me, and I love to play in front of them, give them a good show. So it's definitely mutual. But we'll see. It's just part of the business. Can't really tell on that. I don't know. So we'll see.
Just the prospect of hitting free agency for the first time, potentially seeing what your value is in the market across the league, is that exciting? Is it intimidating? Just how do you feel about that?
No, man. I mean, I know my value. I know what I'm worth around the league. So, it's not really nothing for me to be intimidated or excited about because I know my value that I bring to a team. So I just gotta, we'll see how that goes. But I definitely know. I know my value and know my worth. So I think that's all that matters for me, for sure.
And when you evaluate, done with the rookie contract, it's been a lot of things have transpired since you came into the league. When you evaluate who you are, as a teammate, as a player also on the court, do you see any major differences between, rookie Cam and Cam now?
Yeah, man, just time, maturity, learning. I came in, they drafted me when I was 19. I'm 23 now, so I really they see me mature from being 19 to 23, so mature, grow as a player and a person off the court. Everybody. So I think it's good to have that relationship with everybody. It's definitely love being here. Definitely love playing here. They drafted me. They saw something in me, and they took a chance. And I always like respect that. But at the end of the day, it is a business. We'll see how that goes. But I mean, it's always a mutual connection and love here. So I would love to be back for sure. But yeah, because just a whole lot invested here. I've been through a lot. Went from super teams to the rebuild, so we'll see how that goes. But it's definitely been a great journey for sure.
I guess you kind of just answered this, but when you got drafted, you said you felt like this was a match made in heaven for you and the organization. I'm curious if what has contributed to, if you still feel that way, if there were any points where that feeling wavered, and kind of how you reflect on, I guess the end of your rookie contract.
No, I never wavered from that. Always felt like this was a great fit for me. Just seeing the team, even with the team at the time, it was a great fit. I felt like for me, obviously I would love to play more, got more run, but it was just part of the league, part of the business, and I understood it. But I never waver. I always loved playing here, even when I got the opportunity to play in front of the fans, everybody in the arena. Got excited when I was out there playing and scoring. So I definitely love playing in Barclays, playing in front of everybody. So I definitely. And even up to now with the fit, even now playing, just playing freely, playing with a green light, I would say. So just experiencing that has been great. But definitely never wavered from the match made in heaven thing I said on draft day, and I think it still applies to this day for me. So yeah.
Cam, obviously not what you wanted in terms of amount that you got to play, but I'm interested kind of, since you had to unfortunately sit back and watch quite a bit, kind of what you thought of the identity of this team, the way that they played when you were and when you were not on the court, and kind of the way that they connected with this coaching staff.
No, it was definitely dope to watch. Obviously, the first few games, the first however many games it was I played in, it was definitely great. Just seeing the vision of what Jordy wants us to play like, and just seeing everybody buy into it was definitely dope to be a part of. And then obviously, it's tough. Injuries happen. I mean, that's just part of the game, honestly. Injuries happen, but it's definitely dope to see how we still competed against all the great teams. We competed hard, and we gave them our best game for sure. Just playing hard, making threes, and just being a tough team. So I think it's definitely a lot of stuff to look on, and definitely a lot of stuff that we can build on and improve on for next year, so we can increase our win total for sure. So it's definitely a lot of room for improvement, but a lot of good stepping stones for us to use to apply. So it was definitely great to see our identity and keep trying to build on it.
Trendon, for you overall, what does it feel like just to be done with this regular season and with this year?
It feels, I ain't gonna say it feels good, but it just feels, just glad that I was able to get through another season in the NBA, just living out my dream. So just putting it in perspective like that, and this was one of the toughest years, just fighting injuries to start off the year, and getting injured again in December, whatever it was, and coming back and just playing a lot of games and winning some games, and so it was definitely a challenging year, but definitely glad I got through it, and glad we're here today. So.
With it being a challenging year for you, like you said, just what were some of the main things that you learned, and how did you kind of grow through it all?
Just with injuries and stuff, just taking my time, and trusting my body, and just being a professional about my body, and just taking time with that. I think just dealing with the hamstring injury that I had, and obviously just doing it twice. It was just tough at first, but just got through it, and just mental toughness, and leaned on my family and my close ones to me, and just got through it, and was able to get on the other side, and come back and just play whatever 31 games straight or whatever it was, and just get through a season and be productive. So.
What was it like to play under Jordy Fernandez, and how did he help your game?
Yeah, it was great. I remember when he got the job this summer, he reached out to me immediately, and this was before I even signed back. So we built a relationship, and it's just to see our relationship where it's at now, and it's been great. And just playing for him, and he's a coach that pushes you, and that's how I need to be. That's where I come from. Just coaches I had growing up, and just coach that's tough on you and to push you, and just have high expectations for you and the group. So it was great, and I think we all enjoyed it, and his play style was obviously different from the ones that was here last year, and we from what we knew, and just adjusting to his play style, and I think it was great, and I enjoyed it.
You mentioned the play style being different. You guys really kind of, I wouldn't say took off, but like the second half of the year defensively, you guys took some pretty big steps. When you look at the numbers. One thing Cam Johnson mentioned when he was in here is just kind of how much more you can kind of grow as the season goes along, especially defensively. Did you kind of notice that almost, I don't know if the playbook got deeper, but that you guys were able to do more and more things as you played together and were with this coaching staff longer?
Yeah, I mean, I think we realized just some of just the personnel on what certain guys can do defensively, and having guys like Ziaire and Keon, who's real good ball pressure and who's real good ball pressuring the ball, and other guys like me, Noah, Jay Will, just guys that is good guarding on ball and can make the winning plays and the effort plays that he wants to see. It was great, like you said, like later on in the season we could see our defense getting better. I think we're number one in defense for about a 2 week span, 2 or 3 week span. So during that win streak we had, and like you said, we just got better during the season, just got more comfortable with it, and realizing certain things we could do, whether it was trapping or whether it was playing zone or whatever it was, just realizing that we got a lot of tricks in the bag that we could pull out, and I think we did, and we showed it. So yeah, it was great.
Firstly, just what about? Oh, sorry.
No, you got it.
All right. Thanks. What about kind of the role you had this year? Whether specifically handling the ball or just the minutes. What did it teach you about what you need to work on, what you want to improve your game? I guess what did you learn about yourself and basketball in that regard?
I mean, as far as just ball handling, I think this is my second year. I think we seen it last year with me just handling the ball and being sort of the point guard, point forward, however you want to put it. But Jordy trusted in me to do it again this year, and he was on me just about still being able to shoot a lot of threes how he wants to play, and run fast and just do the things that he wants to do, and while also trusting me enough to be me and be the versatile player that I am. So I think it was great, and it was a great mesh.
And then secondly, you've been in Portland, I'm sure you got connections, friends around the league. When they ask you what it's like to be in Brooklyn, what do you say, that makes it unique or is specific about your experience here?
I'll just say like the everyday life, just the traffic and the I come from the South, so where I like to drive a lot, and I don't have a car here, so it's a lot of Uber and a lot of drivers, a lot of walking and stuff. So nah, man. I mean, when I tell them, I just tell them it's different. It's different. It's different from where I come from, and it's different from where I've been. So, but me, my second year here, I just got way more comfortable with the city, way more comfortable with the community and with the fans and stuff. So it's great, man. I like living here, and I got a nice spot, and just now I'm more comfortable with it this time around. So shout out BK.
Trendon, now that you've had probably your most consistent role in your NBA career here, I'm curious, what are you looking forward to towards unrestricted free agency, and essentially, what do you want to get out of that experience for yourself?
Yeah, just to, obviously you want to, get what you feel like you get what you deserve, and put, like you said, just having a consistent role these past 2 years. I think I've been able to show. I mean, not only my organization, but even other organizations, and just putting my name out there, and that's earning respect for my name. So I think I've just been able to do that with the opportunity that I've been given here, and I think this was my second time coming around free agency. So I know how it goes, and I know it's a business, but I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the group, and I enjoyed being here. So obviously I know we got to make it have some talks and whatever coming up soon, but I enjoy being here. I know I like what we got going on. So,
How's it feel?
Man, it feels good. I'm ready for my vacay. Release.
Oh, right. Ziaire, since this is just the end of season media availability, what's it like just to get through this year, and how would you just assess what you guys were able to do this season?
Man, it was crazy. Went by so fast. Every year, I swear it goes by even faster and faster. It's really is a trip. But I'm happy with. Of course, we wish we would have made the playoffs, so that's a bummer. But overall, in the grand scheme of things, I'm just happy with the team. Happy with the improvement from everybody and myself. It's been fun, man. The culture here is amazing, and I'm glad I'm here. So I had a lot of fun, learned a lot of good things, and I'm gonna enjoy my little 2-3 weeks, whatever it is, of chill time with the fam, and right back to the grind.
I'm not sure if you've had time to reflect on it just yet, but with what Jordy and the coaching staff were able to do, the foundation, the culture that you mentioned, and the way that they're able to build it this season, how were you able to step into that, and how did that kind of just help your game just grow and prosper in a way?
Yeah, I mean, I try to just trust their process, trust their vision. From day one, they told me exactly what they wanted out of me. And that's just what I try to just hold my standard to every night. I appreciate Jordy just being consistent every day. He's always going to tell you exactly how it is straight up, and that's how I was taught and raised. So I love that method. I think it's really the only method to winning is holding each other accountable and just being there for one another. So credit to Jordy, man. He's done an amazing job so far, and we proved to people, that we're a special team, and we got a lot of potential. We just keep our heads down and keep working.
You've mentioned how you like being here, being in Brooklyn, playing under Jordy. Just what does the next few weeks look like for you? Just what are the expectations that you have for your future?
Man, I mean, catch some sun, get a little sand, some ocean water on my feet, wind down. Maybe, look back. I haven't really had a chance to kind of, just grasp of how I did or take everything in. So definitely just enjoy my downtime, and then just back to work. I have a great agent and a team behind me that'll handle all the whatever contract stuff in the summer. So I'm just focused on controlling what I can, getting my body right, getting my skills right, game right for a big season next year.
Just firstly, are you a guy that will watch a lot of the playoffs or whatever, or do you need to decompress from basketball?
Nah, I can't stop watching it completely. I can't go cold turkey. I probably won't touch basketball though, but definitely will still watch.
And then secondly, and more generally, you come over from Memphis. What did you kind of perceive as the reputation of Brooklyn before you got here? What were you expecting? Maybe what did you hear? And then your experience, how did it differ? How was it unique? What would you, I guess, tell other people about what it's like to be here?
Oh, man. Let me look back and think. Man. Well, I mean, for one, I knew it was kind of brand new, everything, new culture. So I knew that, it was kind of just going to be a learning curve for everyone. It's you never really know what you're going to get into until you're kind of thrown in the fire. But, credit to the staff and, my teammates. They made this transition so easy for me. It really was a blessing, man. I never once felt uncomfortable here, even from day one. And I'm a pretty shy guy, but it was just such of a smooth process and organic transition. And, it's really just all credit to just everyone buying in, The chemistry is definitely there, so they made it easy for me.
When you once you decompress, get your vacay, and then get back in the lab, what are the things that you want to hone in on and work on? Is it still the jumper, still keep improving that, or are there certain aspects that you want to improve on?
Yeah, man, I can name so much. I guess prioritize still just being consistent at the little things, catching, shooting threes. Hopefully I can get my volume up even higher, my percents up even higher next year. And then, attacking off the dribble, finishing at the rim better, getting my handle tighter, and, even just running more, doing a bunch of slides and just getting my body war ready for what I'm demanded to do. And I love the challenge of, picking up full and guarding the best player and providing energy every night. I think it's something I'm capable of doing. So just gonna try to work my butt off this summer, man. My goal in the summer is to always make it harder than the games are, so that when it's fourth quarter of game 68 on a back-to-back, your body's battle tested. So just gonna follow the plan that the coach has given me and my team back home, and it'll be a good summer for sure. Great summer.
Ziaire, I would say your pregame warm-up routine, kind of one of the more entertaining ones as the season went on with all the footwork. But just I actually kind of want to ask you more where that came from, and then also your relationship with Connor Griffin and kind of how that grew and what he did for you this season.
Right. So basically, the footwork is just to put my body in weird positions, to find my balance, just find my whole rhythm into the shot, have it feeling clean and good. And I know if I could shoot a shot shooting off one leg and balancing to my right and half spinning and finally find my body and get back to balance, then I'll be able to just shoot a regular catch and shoot three when I'm shot ready. Like I said, the whole purpose of it is just to make everything harder in practice, so in the game you feel like there's no area you haven't touched yet. And shout out to Connor, man. That's really my guy. He held it down this year, just like not even just on court, but just in life, man. Like he was just a great friend, great life coach. We talked a lot about a lot of different things, and he helped me. He helped me a lot just to stay positive and stay motivated and just to embrace the journey. He was a real one for sure. So hopefully, I get to work with him again next year, and I'm looking forward to it.
You're about to hit free agency for the first time in your career. Just, is that exciting? And what's your confidence level that you and the Nets will be able to get something done for you to return?
Yeah, super exciting, man. I gave it all I had this year, so I don't have any regrets on effort or, I looking back like, man, I wish I would have tried harder, or I wish I would have listened better. Like I gave it all I had, and my mom always told me, if you just leave it up to God and trust your work, then He'll handle the rest. So definitely looking forward to it. Hopefully it's here. I feel like Brooklyn is the best place for me. Just the way the staff has pushed me and held me to a higher standard. I know you can't really find that everywhere in the NBA, and I definitely didn't take it for granted. Like they pushed me even times, so I'm like, man, this guy, he's freaking crazy. There's no way, but like there always is a way. It's just about just finding that fire and that light in you, and believing that you could do it. So like I said, hopefully I'm here. I've made some lifelong friends and people who I call family and my brothers now. So hopefully we get to run it back.
Ziaire, you've spoken before about, the challenge of going from Memphis to here, and, you feeling like you have to prove yourself as you go into free agency this summer and everything you've done up to this point. Do you feel like coming to Brooklyn was a positive step for you in your career?
Absolutely, no doubt about it. Definitely a positive step. And it was a step that I was nervous to take, I was scared to take, and I remember the day like it was yesterday. It was my first day on my Tahiti trip in summer, and I got that Woj bomb. Well, now it's Shams, but it was a trip, man. It was a turning point in my life for sure. So, like I said, man, I'm just happy I'm here, and I'm happy I was able just to re-identify myself and know the things that I'm good at, and be able to focus on those things and not be so worried about just whatever, and focus about so many different things. Jordy, he made it so easy for me. Really just play my butt off and just shoot the ball. It was that simple as that. And I think the simplicity of what he wanted out of me is what allowed me to grow and play free and just be myself, not thinking. I haven't felt this way in a while. So, like I said, hopefully I get to come back and we get to even get better, and I get better, the team gets better. make it to the playoffs, and keep slowly, making progress from there.